Hello, hi, welcome to Science City of Education. My name is Sam, and today I'm presenting you this video of vocabulary number 4. As I have already made a couple of videos regarding vocabulary, you can see on my channel, and today I'm going to do a couple of words with you, right? Some C2 based words that can be very beneficial to you in terms of enhancing your communication, and not only that, your IELTS also. You can use in your writing task as well as your speaking module. So let's get started. Now, there's a link in the description. It will be there regarding my previous videos of vocabulary 1, 2, and 3. You must see them, try to use them. Before initiating, I just want to say that, many people have a problem of not being able to recall the words when they are learning. Right. And then they say, I have actually a lot of vocabulary with me. I have been writing down on daily basis, but I'm unable to recall when it comes to speaking. Why does it happen? See, the answer is quite simple. Like, I mean, when you practice something daily, then you are able to learn it. Now, I would say that if you're learning, let's say 20 words in a day, then you should be able to remember all the 20 words the next day. You cannot. But even if you're able to recall 2, 3 words out of those 20, consider it done, right? Similarly, every day you have to do. Now, one very effective method of learning vocabulary, I guess it's basically by making some kind of stories, right? So write yourself an assignment like a topic or something. That's how we do on our platform, of our spoken batches, where we all encourage people by giving them some topics to discuss, right? So we give them some 5 words, and they make some story, like by using those 5 words into it, some idiomatic phrases as well. Now, in future, what will happen, maybe after 2 days or maybe a week or so, you may not be able to remember the word, but based on that story which you spoke, you definitely are going to recall a couple of words, right? So that is why making a story is beneficial. Now let's begin with our words. I will be only doing 10 words today. So I will try to come up, with as many videos as I can regarding vocabulary so that I can help you all with that. Let's go. Now, the very first word that we're going to do, it is obscure. Now it's pronounced as obscure, right? Obscure. Now, obscure, as we have done this word in a previous video also, I did that word over there, dubious. Dubious. Right. Now, these two have the same meaning. So, which means the meaning of this unclear, or you can also say when you're uncertain about something. Now, this we are using as an adjective, to be very honest, right? We are using as an adjective, unclear or uncertain, right? Now, as a verb also, you can use obscure as a verb. You can use it as in terms of hide. We will do examples of these three. I'll write down few examples so you can understand. Let's pronounce the word properly. Obscure. Obscure. Right? Obscure. Dubious. Right? Obscure, dubious. Now, as an adjective, it means unclear. When, like you're unclear about anyone's thought, or somebody said something and you were not sure like what they meant, right? So you can say over there, like your thoughts, what you just mentioned, were quite obscured. Ed, right? So were quite obscured, were quite dubious, right? So could you please rephrase them for me? Right? Could you please rephrase, which means like make it simple? Okay. So could you rephrase them for me? Verb, let's write down some examples so you can clarify. Let's say with the adjective, first of all, I'm going to write I was quite obscured about whether I should go for medical or non-medical stream after completing my senior secondary. Right. So I was quite obscured or dubious. With dubious, there is no need like ED or anything like that, right? So I was quite obscured about whether I should go for medical or non-medical stream after completing my senior secondary. I was quite obscured or I was quite dubious. Right. That's in an adjective way you can use. Right. As we have already discussed about another example, like I was really, obscured about what you were saying. That's why I asked you to rephrase it. Right, clear? Now, as in verb, we can come with an example like it means hide, okay, as a verb. I wanted to give my parents, it's not parents, remember parents, it's parents, right? So I wanted to give my parents a surprise, right? I wanted to give my parents a surprise of my arrival, right? I want to give my parents a surprise of my arrival. So I kept, right? So with obscure, so I kept my feelings obscured, right? So I've kept my feelings obscured from them, right? This is how you can make use of this sentence. I wanted to give my parents a surprise of my arrival, so I kept my feelings obscured from them. Correct? Right. I hope first word is clear. Now let's jump on to the second word. Now, second word which I'm going to do is, let's say, conspicuous. 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 Something, it means conspicuous. Conspicuous. Right? Repeat 5 times so that it can sit on your tongue. It's conspicuous. Conspicuous. So conspicuous. Now, conspicuous means something vivid, means clear. Something very clear, conspicuous. So the results, the outcome was quite conspicuous. No issues at all. Right. Now let's make an example here. Conspicuous. It's quite conspicuous that let's say it's quite you are having a debate or something, right? And you won, and you lowered the other belief, right? So we can use in that way. It's quite conspicuous that your belief is, right? We did this word flawed. Okay, flawed means faulty, right? So it's quite conspicuous that your belief is flawed by what I discussed earlier. FLAWED, flawed means faulty. Okay, So it's quite conspicuous that your belief is flawed by what I discussed earlier, right? So which means that ये चीज बिल्कुल साबित हो चुकी है कि जो आपने विचार रखा था, अपने पॉइंट जो आपने रखा था, वो ठीक नहीं था, वो फॉल्टी था, राइट? सो बाय व्हाट आई डिस्कस्ड अर्लियर, ठीक है, जो मैंने पहले बताया उससे ये चीज साबित होती है कि आपने जो ओपिनियन दिया था वो गलत था, राइट? इट वाज फ्लॉड. Okay, so conspicuous, right? I hope this one is clear. Number second. Now let's move on to third. Number third, emerge. Emerge means rise. Right? Now, how we can use? For example, there has been. Now, there has been an emerging trend. There has been an emerging trend of using electric automobiles. Now, there has been an emerging trend of using electric automobiles. Okay. Now, many people, I have realized that they pronounce this word as automobiles. It's not automobiles, right? It sounds at basically, let's say it will be easier for you to remember this way: automobiles. Like this is how you can remember this: automobiles, 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 right? So there has been an emerging trend of using electric automobiles, right? So which means these days, at present, in the present scenario, like it is, we can witness that majority of people are giving preference to use electric automobiles. Okay. So emerging, there has been an emerging trend, a rising trend. For that we use emerge. Right, let's come on to number fourth. Let's say number fourth is subtle. Subtle. Subtle, right? Subtle. So subtle. Sublary. We can also make it as sublary. Now, subtle. What does subtle means? Subtle means something very specific, very fine. You know, like we can also say precise. Okay. Something very fine, like in art we can say, you know, when we say बहुत ही बारीकी से ये चीज की गई है, right? So that means subtle, very fine or precise, specific, बहुत ही clear, बहुत ही साफ, बारीकी सी चीज की हुई, subtle, right? So how we can put up into our example? Let's say now we all know a fact, any fact you want to say, right? For example, let's say a fact is that pollution is caused by vehicles, right? Vehicles, not vehicles, vehicles, right? Pollution is caused by vehicles. And we can also say that pollution is also deteriorating the environment, right? So let's say, example, it is quite subtle, it is quite subtle that pollution it is quite subtle that pollution adversely affect the environment, right? Adversely means negatively, बुरा असर, right? Negatively affect the environment. Now remember, whenever you use a vowel, right? This is in speaking, right? Whenever you use a vowel, the pronunciation of the becomes the. It's not the, right? So the, right, with any vowel when you're writing. For example, the animal. For example, the book. The, that becomes obviously the. Now the, the difference is this: when you have a vowel, right, vowel, then you sound the, like the internet, right, the environment, right, the blue collar, right, the white collar, right. So over there you'll be using the. Okay, right. So I hope it's clear. Number 4, subtle, which means precise. Okay, very well. Now let's move on to number 5. Derail. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Derail. Derail, obviously, as you can see, derail means so you're coming off the track, right? So, run away or getting off the track. Run away or getting off the track. Derail. Okay. Now, we get sometimes topics related to children, and we have a common idea that if they spend too much time playing video games or spending too much time on their mobile phones, why they may derail themselves from their academics, right? So let's write the sentence: derail. Now, due to excessive, why बहुत ज़्यादा, due to excessive sitting in front of television, you just say silver screen, due to excessive sitting in front of silver screen, many children derail themselves. From where? Many children derail themselves from their. Now try to come, like write better than studies all the time. So there, let's say we can write academics. This one as well, I just want to make sure you pronounce correctly. It's not academics. 90% people say academics. No, it's academics, right? Academics, right? So their academics, which is obviously important. So we can say obviously, because we can't write obviously, which is irrefutably, without any doubt, right? Which is irrefutably prominent, right, for them, which is prominent for them. So let's read again: derail, run away or getting off the track. Let's go. Due to excessive sitting in front of silver screen, many children derail themselves from their academics, which is irrefutably prominent for them. Important, right? Irrefutably means no deny, right? Which is undeniable, important for them. So irrefutably prominent for them. Clear? Clear how to use derail? So you are on a track, now you are not attuned anymore. Attuned, A-T-T-U-N-E-D. Attuned means not synchronized with something anymore. Okay? Lot of vocabulary, guys, lot of vocabulary. Believe me, I will only be discussing you something very easy to use. you can easily write in your task, or you can write or any poems if you're a writer, or for speaking as well. Right. Now, this was number 5. Let's do 4 more left. Number 6. Let me think. What else? Derail. So, right. Let's do aggrandize. Now, aggrandize. Right. Aggrandize. बहुत बड़ा. Now, aggrandize means you can either say enlarge, right? Aggrandize, right? Enlarge, or we can also say to enhance the power. To enhance the power. You know, like sometimes, you know what it's being said, like self, मतलब अपने आप में अपनी चीज ज़्यादा बढ़ानी, right? So enlarge अपनी image को, like doing something in order to enhance your own image, right? So aggrandize, enlarge. We can also use enlarge, like you know how in some topics of task 2 we start our essay from burgeoning population, right? Is the root cause of purchasing of a lot of vehicles and all, right? Burgeoning, so population. We can also write aggrandizing population, right? Emerging, like rising, so aggrandizing. Now here, let me make a sentence using personal pronoun. So let's say, I'm not a self. I'm not a self aggrandizing. I'm not a self-aggrandizing singer, right? So I'm not a self-aggrandizing singer. I know my limits, and for this, I'm not gonna take part in singing competition. Not competition, 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 right? So I'm not a self-aggrandizing singer. So which means I'm not like self-promoting. Promoting, like don't take it as specific promoting. It means like I'm just, वो कहते हैं ना बढ़ा चढ़ा के, right? So I'm not a self-aggrandizing singer. I know my limits, right? So you can also make a sentence like, you know, I went to this concert. It had, you know, it had multifarious music. You know, like people. It had like a different kind of people who came performing on different music. Like there were a couple of, you know, people playing jazz, which was quite fruitful. And then there was this self-aggrandizing, right? Self-aggrandizing hip hop players, which didn't sound the way it supposed to be. And then we had a couple of rappers, which was quite, you know, like who were quite okay types, I would say. And then we had a couple of people playing this Sufi, you know, like singing the Sufi songs. I mean, those were quite melodious, no doubt. Okay, so that's how you can use the word aggrandizing. Right? Clear? Let's move on to next. Now, number 7. Next word. Okay. Let's say ambivalent. Let me do this. Ambivalent. This is a very good word. Ambivalent. 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 Right? Ambivalent. Now, what does ambivalent means? When you are unsure about something, or when you have mixed feelings, or when you have mixed ideas. So which means unsure, Right. Now let me write one IELTS. The topic comes like in task two, for example, specifically that many people believe that blah 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 blah. Many people believe. In order to rephrase that, many people believe. What else we can write? I'll just give you one very beautiful sentence. It's just a variety. I'm not saying that you have to stick to it. I mean, there are other numerous ways to write, just one variety, right? I always encourage my students, right, to start off with a general statement. If they can, make a link, right, with the topic sentence. If not, then definitely go for paraphrasing the sentence, right, the topic sentence itself. But come with some nice words and expressions so that your first impression should be absolutely flawless. Now, many, what did this word? People, cohorts, cohorts, many cohorts, right? Group of people. Cohorts means group of people. Now, many cohorts are, let's use this word, ambivalent. Ambivalent, right? Many cohorts are ambivalent about, many cohorts are ambivalent about whether working from home has, because we're talking about working from home has perks or not. Let's say the topic says about like the benefits of working from home. Some people say that it has clear advantages, while some others they say that it caused an adverse effect or it has some ramifications, right? So many cohorts are ambivalent about whether working from home has perks or not. Advantages, right? Perks or perils, right? You can use that. PERKS or PERILS. Perils means negative, right? So obviously perks mean advantages in a way you can use. Right. So many cohorts are ambivalent about whether working from home has perks or not. Not. We did this in the video. It's not note, it's not. Right. So this is how you can use the word ambivalent when you're unsure about this. Like any question, even in, let's say, speaking examination, or any question is being asked to you, any idea, do you think, like for example, like, do you think that children should be punished harshly when they do something wrong or they behave badly in public? I'm quite ambivalent here, right? Tell you the truth, if we do so, then definitely it may hamper their thought process or something, and it may result in change in behavior, which is not fruitful for sure. So I believe some kind of punishment should be given, but definitely not harsh, right? So that they can understand that what wrong did they do, and they will promise themselves that they won't be repeating it again, right? This is how you can form a sentence, right? I'm quite ambivalent here, right? So I'm unsure, right? I have mixed thoughts here. So definitely remember, it's not unsure, it's mixed thoughts. So which means that you need to use conditional sentence. If this thing happens, then this thing, or this thing happens, this thing, right? This is how you can even exaggerate your response, right? Okay, so let's move on to number 8, third last. What should I give you now? Okay, let's say apathetic. Apathetic, right? Apathetic means simply someone who is emotionless. He doesn't have any emotion, like over there. When he's sitting anywhere, like he's like heartless guy. We can't say heartless, not really heartless, I would say, just emotionless. Like when you're sitting in a crowd or something, people are talking about something you don't have interest in, right? Remember, this is, if you're IELTS speaking students, aspirants, right? You must be knowing there's a cue card. Talk about a time when you did not like the conversation. Over there, you can use this word, right? Apathetic, emotionless, like you were not into the emotions of the talks that other people were having. Okay, let's make a sentence. Apathetic. Example, to be frank, I become apathetic, right? I become apathetic when I am surrounded when I'm surrounded by hordes of, let's say, hordes of nonsense talkers. Nonsense talkers, also you can say loose talkers, right? Nonsense talkers. Believe me, this is how I I have learned to be patient. This is how I have learned to be patient, or this is how I have learned patience. You can also say, right? Now, let's see again. To be frank, I become apathetic, which means that I become emotionless. I don't pay much attention, right? I don't pay much attention when I'm surrounded by hordes. Hordes means crowd. Okay, HORDES. Horde means basically crowd, right? So when I'm surrounded by hordes of nonsense talkers, believe me, this is how I have learned to be patient. See, why I have written this example, particular example, is because when you are basically, sitting somewhere where people are talking just rubbish, right? You sometimes unwantedly, or I would say unwillingly, right? You get your mind into their talking, and then you feel like, what am I doing here? That particular moment for you becomes, like you don't enjoy, but it's like becomes more of a chore than a pleasure, right? This is a very good idiom, more of a chore than pleasure, which means you are doing something rather unwillingly. So doing what? You're forcefully sitting yourself over there, right? Like for example, it's not that obviously that you are forced, that someone made you sit there. No, maybe because you maybe you are at a marriage function or something like that. You don't find any other chair, so you got one, you're sitting there, and other people, they just came, they sat next to you, they started talking rubbish. So, and you'll be like, oh man, what am I doing, what am I listening to? Right? So there, instead of asking them, could you please calm down? Could you please relax? Could you please stop talking this? Come up with something else, right? So you just become emotionless. You don't pay attention. You don't listen to them. You pretend that you are there, but you're not listening to them. So you become apathetic. Okay? Right. Now let's move on. Just few minutes I'll be taking more, and that's it. Maybe another 2-3 minutes. Second last word, number 9. What else I should give you? Number 9. Right. Let's say approbate. 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 Now, approbate. What is approbate? Approbate means formal agreement. Formal agreement. So something that is generally believed by many, they agree to it. Formal agreement. Approbate. For example, many echelons also means cohorts, group of people, right? Many echelons approbate. Now, what are they believing? So many echelons approbate that let's say high-tech gadgets. Many echelons approbate that high-tech gadgets enormously, बहुत ज़्यादा क्या करते हैं? Enormously save our time. Right? So many echelons approbate that high-tech gadgets enormously saves our time. Now, as you can see, approbate. So they have a formal agreement to this, that yes, high-tech gadgets really save our time. Right? So that's the exact meaning of approbate, which means formal agreement. So people, they agree to something, right? Or you can also, it's not about people, it's about you also. Like you can also agree to something, right? I completely approbate to it, right? I completely approbate to the given notion. Now, let's move on. Bus, study there or number 10. You approbate from there, you can make, let's say, arrogate. Arrogate. Now, arrogate, this is a very good word. Arrogate means, like sometimes what happens, like you might have seen in school, even, people, they just become like the leaders without any justification or anything like that. Right. So we just over there, we just have to use this word, right? Arrogate. So how we can make, like, for example, here first, let's write down the meaning of it. Take control of something without justification. Take control of something without justification. For example, let's make an example. Arrogate. Let's say she arrogated, right? She arrogated the leadership. She arrogated the leadership role to herself, right? She arrogated the leadership role to herself, which means that she took control, right? She became the leadership. She became the leader, right, of herself. Like nobody made her leader of any team or anything like that. She just, stood up and said to everyone that, okay, I'm a leader, right? So in that situation, we can use the word arrogate. Arrogate means to take control of something without justification, right? So you are not basically being, you're not taking permission or anything from any authority or someone or anybody, right? You just showing yourself that yes, I'm acting like a leader, right? So there we can use the word arrogate. Okay, right. So that would be all for today. I hope these 10 words will help you in line. Now, if you have any problem, you have the numbers in the description, right? And we are continuously working on, making practice, like doing practice with a lot of people, right? And I will definitely be coming up with more words by making you some more videos regarding vocabulary, even sometimes idioms. And I will definitely be making some videos regarding to IELTS. And the next video will definitely be on speaking section in IELTS specifically, right? All right, that will be all for today. You have a very lovely day ahead. Thank you so much.